going to begin and see how this goes. Okay, so we have had some time to discuss, and hopefully groups are ready to talk about their ad. All right, so the description again of this assignment that we started in class last week, and now we're going to finish up today, is an in-class activity where we're going to analyze advertisements. If you can find a way of participating and joining us today, even if you weren't present last class, you can do this if that isn't an option for you. And for everybody who's also streaming the class, you can do the same thing, but submit a short write-up basically of the type of thing that we're asking for here in class. So for those who aren't present today, you can get credit for this activity. You have 1 week to turn it in from now. And there's basically two main questions here is, how would you describe the strategy and who is the target audience? So, and I probably would prefer to tackle that in these presentations as number one, who would the target audience be? And number two, what's the strategy used? And we're using quite a simple definition of either a strategy that emphasizes needs and product function. So, you need a garden hose that's 100 feet long, and we'll sell you one and tell you that this is an unbreakable hose that is really great. So you've got a need and you have a product function. Or another option is kind of an image, to create an image for the product and then to invite customers to see themselves within that image. So we're thinking either, we're making this either or, but in fact, if we were spending a long time on this type of questioning, it would, we could go much deeper into strategies. As far as target audience goes, we have the demographic differences of age, gender, ethnicity. This is what we typically look at in broadcasting. I'm sure advertising goes a lot deeper than that. And then we have, psychographic and lifestyle aspects as well, which have more to do with income, life stages, and education, that type of thing. So really for today, when I ask who's your target audience, do you think? Probably what we're trying to do is kind of guess this from the advertisement, basically, just as a way of getting familiar with these two very important aspects of targeting. So, and I'm just going to invite the groups up for a minute or two to say what they think, and then I'm going to ask folks in the audience, what you think too. Yes, Ibu?
Is that psychographic?
Psychographics, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It has to do with the differences of large groups of population based on things like their income, based on the life stages that they are at, based on their education, that type of thing. So, they call it psychographics. It's, part of it is that, the whole idea of both of these categories is to break people down into large groups that you can kind of anticipate what they would want to know, basically. Yeah, good question. So, Lonnie and Michael and Josias, you want to come up?
Okay, so for the ad, we chose something from IKEA. And basically with this ad, it generally surfaces around either pregnant moms or younger, or not really younger, but families and all that stuff. And also for people who are interested in DIY projects and stuff like that. And for this, also with the ad, I guess with the whole slogan saying being on this ad may change your life. I guess supposedly there's like kind of like a pregnancy test somewhere right here. It doesn't show. And I guess supposedly if you pee on the ad, it shows a discount code, kind of a thing. So I don't know if that's something people generally would do on an ad. And also like it's also like it doesn't really show if it's like, you know, something that's durable. So people are like, is it something we want to buy for our kids, or like, so it's like they're not sure if they want to buy it or not. But then also if like, oh, like someone like just comes in, they're just like, I'm interested in DIY projects. Why not just get it? Probably like show it on a video, stuff like that.
Cool. Okay. So stay up here, guys, for a sec. Just wanted to ask everybody in the audience. The group felt that the target audience was going to be young families and also people who are, you know, willing to get involved in a DIY project. Would you guys have anything else to add as far as target audience is concerned?
If there's a discount code that activates when wet, that's definitely a male target audience.
A male target? No, it's a pregnancy test, Ibu. So you have to be pregnant in order for it to actually work. Yeah, yeah. Other folks about target audience?
Well, what would really help is to know what magazine it is taken from.
Ah, yes, it's a good point. The channel that you see an advertisement in is actually very important, but I'm not sure if we can find this advert is currently only being featured in Swedish women's magazine Amelia.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, pretty descriptive women. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So it seems to be appealing there. So what do you think is effective about, is this a strategy ad that talks about the client needs and the, you know, the great functions of the product, or is it more an image ad? What would you like? And maybe it's a bit of both, but what do you think? Do you see anywhere in the text there an itemization of why this is a good crib? No. In fact, the ad is talking more about what it is. It's, you know, a pregnancy test ad with a discount code and such like that. So if it's not a needs and product function, then maybe it's an image ad. Yeah?
I think the image ad works well to intrigue, since it's specifically towards women, to intrigue them to be excited to go baby shopping, like to go buy things for their kid.
Okay. So
And it doesn't specify even what the crib does or how it, like, it doesn't have any instructions, anything, like, I don't see anything besides the price.
Yeah.
That could, like, maybe it's, like, cheaper than other cribs, which could also make it, like...
Michael?
Sorry.
I honestly don't think this is a cheaper crib. Because look at the price of that. I wouldn't spend $1,000 on a crib.
It looks like the discount price, if you actually do the test, is $495. So you get a whole
But
$500.
Is this in Europe, though? Isn't this in Europe?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like, the economy in Europe is really different compared to here.
The money, probably.
Yeah. So then it could be like a cheaper version of like cribs.
It's possible.
And then plus like it could either be like if you go in a store, like sometimes like right by the items they can show like what it offers and like the durability sometimes that as well.
But yeah, would you still trust something from IKEA? They break easily, in my opinion.
Okay, but we're not, but we're talking about the ads, right? And so, I mean, perhaps we're just about done with thinking about this ad. I'm not sure, but it seems to me that it is purposely setting out to be kind of controversial or intriguing just by what it is in the nature of what it is. So perhaps that's why when I searched it online, there was, it was a top hit, and many websites actually describing it, including Adweek and other sort of advertising industry related, sites and such. So it seems to have attracted a lot of interest. Did that bring up any other ideas in terms of how this is being pitched at people?
They should at least put a jellyfish on it or something.
Okay. Other ideas? Cool. Well, thank you, group. You broke the ice. Broke the ice. Thank you very much. So hold the mic real close to your mouth. Jody, you gotta do that. Ah, that's probably your picture coming in, Lupe. Okay. Fantastic.
Okay, so our advertisement is Fidelity. It's insurance and financial advising advertisement. And the theme is support. The product target is adults and seniors or elderly who are struggling with financial planning, money or debt, or investment in money. Our product needs expertise in finance. And the robotic hand holding the flower right there, it represents Fidelity giving a helping hand for those who want planning and advice, investing your money or insurance. The image is mostly white, black, and green, and the mood shows supportive. The color green with the arrow represents that Fidelity is here to guide you to the right direction to get you out of debt, spend your money right, be ready for retirement, and have life insurance. The action in the photo suggests that Fidelity advisors are here to help, that you aren't alone. The flower can represent sympathy, power, sharing feelings, compassion to help people and people who are experiencing.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. And, okay, so you were mentioning that the target audience is probably older people?
Yeah, adults and seniors.
Uh-huh, okay, that makes sense, because they'd be most likely, could you guys face out front?
Yeah, just-
They'd be most likely to,
The ones acquiring money to invest with, or that need financial guidance, and so
Right.
we're figuring the target audience for this advertisement is between like the age of like 25 to 55, people who are invested in long-term jobs where the income is like very established and set up.
yeah. Max, were you with these guys?
Was I?
For the
Are you?
advertisement,
Yes,
Come on up.
let's do it.
You're here just in time.
Just in time.
So Chow was telling us, let's see, target audience, demographically, we're looking at age, the older people who would have money. William, I'm not sure whether slinging the microphone around might send a lot of noise out to the streaming. I don't know. Is there any gendered ideas about this, or
it's both.
you think it's both? Yeah.
Yeah, they keep gender and ethnicity pretty neutral here, which is why I feel like they use a more a psychographic process where they're addressing people with income, people who are already established in their workplace
Yeah.
and probably have some kind of higher education because they're at a higher salary paying spot, because that's going to be where Fidelity is going to make their money, is from someone who has money.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I would say that they're keeping gender and ethnicity completely neutral by using a robot hand rather than a human hand.
Yeah, good point.
There's no way to tell what type of target audience this is, gender and ethnicity wise,
Yeah.
because there's no, robot hand.
Yeah. But it was, so absolutely, I agree with you. It was in Fortune magazine, so again, as we said, knowing what channel it's coming to you in is good. So it's in a magazine for people who are interested in finances and stuff. It's also, mutual funds are basically, collections of stocks that individuals can buy parts of mutual funds and thereby become investors in different market sectors. So it's kind of like for people who'd like to join into the investing market. And so how about AI? Is there something specific about our current view of AI? And what does it say to you to see a robot hand holding like a daisy or a nice cute flower?
It's a positive reinforcement of the impact that AI could have, and especially because this advertisement is specifically addressing the avenue of AI as a form of
Making money.
investment. Yeah,
Right.
I think the positive association is like really important
Yeah.
for the advertisement.
Yeah.
There's also kind of a trend right now to try and make AI look more human. And you can see that, I feel like, in this ad because it's holding something that grew from the earth, something that's natural.
Yeah.
It's just trying to further that sort of fusion.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I agree with what he says.
Yeah.
Definitely using something, especially since it's like the way that they use the plant is something earth related. Like it's literally a plant comes from earth, and like a robot is made by humans, or it's made like with machines. So it's like bringing them both together, like intrigues people more.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable reading of that image. So we've got an ad that has something to say in terms of creating an image that people might want to buy into. And then there's also obviously a whole lot about, needs and functions. I mean, it's selling the sector to us, and then there's like an entire, half page of disclaimers, it seems, or just basically informing you about, the potential risks of investing in a mutual fund and stuff. But I do like the interpretation of the image, right? I think there's a certain amount of fear in society right now about AI. It's going to take away a lot of jobs, a lot of physical menial jobs in the next 20 years will disappear, so there's a certain scare factor about AI or about robotics, which is that type of robot hand also kind of reminds me of sci-fi and stuff. So if you can pair that up with a really cute flower, you're kind of like suggesting that there's a possible upside or a human side or a natural side to all this, and for investors, they'll think, well, let me put my money into that because that's where the future is and it's not so bad. Ideas?
Well,
Ibu, you had your hand up, Ibu? Yeah?
well, it's a delicate flower. It's not a hardy plant. Further catering to the human aspect.
Uh-huh.
It's capable of.
Right, it's not crushing that flower. Is that what you mean? Yeah. It is. It's kind of it's a nice symbiotic image. Okay. Cool. Well, I think that's good enough. Thank you, guys. All right. All right. Yes, bravo, folks. That was a real interesting one to take a look at. Go right ahead. Yeah, sure. And speak close to it.
This is a Band-Aid commercial. This targets parents with children and young kids.
And then I had also suggested that it possibly targets coaches, like sport coaches, since a lot of injuries do happen during sports. Another one specific would be right at the bottom, you can't really see it, but it says 100% waterproof, so it could also like intrigue water polo sports coaches, because like that's just a coincidence. But it specifically really targets also mothers, because they really one of the things that we notice is that the want and need to protect the child and the need to heal a bruise is something that both parents are really cautious about, but also moms are more. I would kind of say this ad is like a pathos, like it's really more like emotional, where it's like there's a teardrop. So a mother would be more like, they're seeing their children cry, and like it's kind of like you freak out if your child's crying really badly from an injury. So it's really targeting towards mom, and overall parents. What another thing too is that we noticed that the child's crying, and since it says waterproof, like the teardrops like not going onto the Band-Aid, like it's like literally waterproof. Another thing too, so one of the creative techniques is that it is a lighter skinned person with blue eyes, and like you can kind of see that their lips are like downward, so they've probably got injured really badly. And it's like, it's only one teardrop, it's not like multiple teardrops. It's like also saying like healing the bruise is like gonna slow down the crying. And yeah, the bandit is right in the middle of the face.
It's easy to see, right?
As
Yeah.
you can see.
You only have to do 2 minutes, by the way, so it's okay. It's a lot. You guys already said a lot. So target audience. Any thoughts on it? We said moms who'd want to take care of kids and such. Who'd be concerned about injuries.
Target audience is like everybody.
Everybody.
Anybody could get injured, you know.
Very broad. Okay.
I also think like hospitals as well.
Oh, true.
Ah.
I agree.
Well, again, these may have the need for the product, but that particular ad might be more closely defined than like everyone who needs a Band-Aid. You know what I mean? But it is quite general in its appeal. Functionality. It does say 100% waterproof. Would you say that that's all that's going on in this ad, or is it? Like, so it says 100% waterproof, which means that someone who needs a waterproof Band-Aid would be happy to know about this. But is that where all the energy of the ad is going, or is there some image being created here too? And how would you characterize the image? And you guys have already done it. But. Yeah, Katrina?
Maybe that it's kind of clear Band-Aid and it matches with the skin of the person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also very important. Probably it wasn't pointed out in the product itself, but I think it means. And probably I'm not sure, but that very ad could look different in different magazines or newspapers, depending on demographics, like who's reading.
Yeah, yeah. It's a striking picture. It's shot from lower. A lot of the color is drained out of it. Is that a kid? Or is that a kid or is that an adult?
Not actually sure.
I was thinking it's a woman, and I was thinking it's like home abuse, or like she has some like a pimple, honestly. And then when the guys told that that's a kid, it kind of blew up my mind because I didn't see a kid first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's not that clear whether this is a kid. It certainly wasn't. They didn't pick an image which made it really clear to see. Oh yeah, this is a little kid who fell down or something. And shooting low like that with somebody looking off over the horizon, it has a kind of a dreamy quality to it, or it doesn't look like it was snapped in everyday life. It kind of seems more like a more symbolic type of image. The fact that there's only one tear, you guys brought that up. It's kind of saying, well, there's some pain here, there's some hurt here, but we don't see the actual injury and stuff. It's interesting. Yeah.
Certainly doesn't look like a Band-Aid ad.
True. Yes, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really look like a Band-Aid ad.
It just kind of looks like they stuck Band-Aid in like the lower right corner of some artsy image.
I wonder.
Plus, I feel like the fact that, like you said, it doesn't have a backstory to like how the person, I was gonna say kid, but the person got injured, definitely also broadens up how a lot of injuries can happen, and there's a lot of different injuries and accidents.
Yeah, it's kind of intriguing. It's hard to figure. When you show like such an arty type of image, do you feel that is appealing to a particular target audience? Like if you definitely wanted to reach sentimental moms or sentimental dads for that matter, we don't need to gender bias it. Like, is that the kind of picture that would like call out sentimentality? Like, oh, I remember when she used to fall down and hurt herself or stuff.
Yeah.
This one, really? Oh, it seems to me kind of like colder and more symbolic. Hard to read these things when you get into these, the actual interpretation of images themselves. You guys see it, we all see it a little bit differently. That's what I want to say. Yeah. Anyhow, thank you. Awesome. Interesting choice. Kind of inscrutable. So, yeah. Come on up. So, Gabe, Gordon, and Desiree.
So the product we're advertising is Nexium 24 hours. and the target audience is probably people with heartburn, and maybe more specifically older white women than that.
This ad is a need. This ad is a need. It's a need because this product allows people to enjoy a full course meal without getting a heartburn.
And then like the features of it, it says it's 24 hours, so it lasts, all day and all night. The creative techniques that are used, like obviously, like, she's the background. It shows like a city, and then it's like this huge stack of pizza, and she's like looking like, she wishes that she could just enjoy that, no pizza without any like issues. And then the whole play on words with it saying, a world with unlimited pizza abilities instead of saying possibilities, and just kind of having fun with it too. But, yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Thoughts on it?
Cute.
Cute. It has sort of a sense of humor for an ad which is designed to, a product to eliminate heartburn, right? Stacks of pizza. It's like, jeez. Do you guys remember what magazine this was in?
It was in a cooking.
Was it a cooking mag?
On brand.
Interesting. Interesting targeting, right? You love cooking, but maybe it disagrees with you sometimes. So a pill like this could be.
Provides a solution.
I love it. Okay, excellent. So yeah, a need. I don't think that's an image one would want to tie oneself to, but it's kind of funny. But yeah, definitely, it gets the point across about product function. All right, thank you guys. Okay, who's up next? Gloria, do you want to come up? All right, you're on your own.
So right off the bat, you can tell that the ad is trying to get your attention because immediately your attention is drawn to the attractive woman. And in the picture, the dress is sparkly and it's black. And then you can see from her quirky ponytail, but it's kind of hard to tell what the ad's for. So believe it or not, I found this in a food magazine, not a fashion magazine. So I had to actually read it to figure out what it was for, but it's actually for this faucet over here. And the brand is Brizo. So they're a luxury brand, and this was found in the magazine Bon Appetit, which their target audience, or a lot of their readers, are in their mid, 40s. So the median age is 46.9. I don't know how the 0.9 comes from, but and the median income is 74,000. So it's targeted toward family men, women, I think both, that have a home and want to renovate their house possibly, or just want a new faucet that will match their status or image. So you can tell that the design kind of matches the kind of look that the woman's giving off. It's very chic, glamorous, and it is a luxury brand, so they're trying to exude this elegant feel. And also, if you actually look up their thing, it says they're trying to advertise how simple and efficient it is. And if you read in the text, it'll mention a desk lamp, and that kind of relates to a lot of people because a desk lamp is something that a lot of people have in their house. And so to say that this is something that's similar to a desk lamp and how efficient and simple, it makes it feel like people need to get this. And so not only is it efficient, simple, but it looks really nice and it goes with the reader's image.
Cool. And for your target audience, where did you get the data about?
It was just online.
Oh, okay.
For the magazine, Bon Appetit.
Okay, okay. So it is a pretty upscale magazine, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. So thoughts about that? So would this be like a, well, I mean, in the small text, I think there was some talk about product function, right? But it's predominantly like an image type of thing, right? That if you're that chic, then you'll want a fixture like that, I guess. What are you guys thinking of it? Yeah?
I definitely agree that it's something like luxurious, where it's making the woman like with her dress, like as if she just like went to a gala and like, oh, you're coming back home to your really expensive sink. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna spend all that money on that sink because I can afford that and it will come like meet up my status. definitely gives off that type of feeling, especially since you described also like the income of people, like the income of people who, demographic of who sees this magazine. It's like they know exactly who they're targeting and where exactly they're putting it.
And this thing's not cheap. I think it ranges from like 500 to 700. It's kind of like that.
Oh my gosh, for a faucet. Wow. Okay. Lonnie?
Like, even if it's like luxurious, like what exactly does the faucet offer? Like, does it like filter your water or something? Or like, is it just fancy just because of how it looks and its design and everything?
I don't think it mentions in the ad, but I think it's mainly the design. I think they even like work with actual designers to create the look.
And then they compare it to a table lamp, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe is that because table lamps are like a, you know, like a real simple design type of project? I'm not sure what. Yeah. Or maybe it's to familiarize it a little bit. Hey, this thing looks weird, but it's just like a table lamp. I'm not sure. But primarily image, yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Hey, Katrina, you want to come up, do yours? You have the magazine? Awesome.
So this ad was taken from Elle Magazine. Elle Magazine is magazine that is catering towards women in their in between 25 to 35 years old who live in metropolitan areas, have university degree, who are single or recently married, and who want to establish themselves professionally. I found this information on Elle website. So interestingly enough, we see a completely different image here. This is a woman who is 69 years old, and you can see her wrinkles, which is quite unexpected for a fashion magazine, because usually all the pictures, including commercials, are heavily photoshopped, and you can't see anything on the faces of the women or men for that reason. So also, it's an ad for CoverGirl, which happens to be a drugstore brand. You can go to Walgreens and get it there. So in my mind, they're catering towards mothers of those women who are reading magazines. And also we have to keep in mind that the audience of magazines is getting older, because like right now, let's say millennials, they are reading magazines online. So maybe if a woman in her 35 years old buys a magazine, eventually it goes to her mom. And then the mom can see this image of this wonderful woman who also happens to be a celebrity. This is Maya Musk, who is the mother of Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, which is quite interesting. And so I think the strategy that is used in this ad is a combination of the functional strategy, because it's a spread. So on this page, it tells you what the foundation does. It's basically makeup that covers your wrinkles and moisturizes your face. And the other page is the image that is projecting on the women who will go and eventually get this makeup. I think I covered it.
You got both? Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Ideas about it?
Can I just say, since you said that CoverGirl can be found at drugstores, I definitely feel like it definitely doesn't have, it's like not an expensive brand.
Yeah.
And like Elon Musk has a lot of money, so I'm pretty sure his mom does too. So it's saying like if she can have it, you can have it too.
I see, okay. So
Yeah, it's kind of building probably the sisterhood. So, like, for example, I read the magazine. I'm not their target audience, but still, you know, I'll go to drugstore and buy probably CoverGirl
Yeah,
instead of going to Sephora and buying something much more expensive.
exactly.
But she's kind of exuding real
I
chic,
want to be
right?
like her when I'm 69. I want
Right.
my mom to be like her, you know, when she's 69. So I think,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, and also it's very empowering. You should think about Elle Magazine. You know, they're trying to make women to speak up about what's going on in society and give women more power. And this is quite empowering to see a woman with wrinkles in a fashion magazine.
Right, true. And an older woman who doesn't usually, you know, find not presented in that context, right? It's usually young women too. Yeah. So good point. Yeah, lots of good points. I am what I make up. It's interesting. It's a play on the word makeup, I guess. Yes, and identity, what one can become. Well, interesting. Thank you. Okay, great. And Ibu, our last.
Chips are a pretty common staple. You can get them everywhere. But we're here for the amount that will fill your belly per calorie. So more directed towards those who are health conscious, that are looking at their figure, and not so much for taste, even though these taste really awesome. You might advertise more for what's going to fill you up and satiate you.
Or maybe not fill you up too much, right? Do you think 100 calories is not very much to fill anyone up? So maybe they're suggesting that
But
less.
amount-wise.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So this is 100 calories of this chip, 100 calories of this chip.
But 100 calories of this chip will
on
get you.
chips. I
Okay.
mean, you're getting twice as much substance.
All right. All right.
as you would with
Gotcha.
these 2 grams.
Gotcha. So, if you went for your 2,000 calories of daily intake, it would be off the page. Yeah. Okay, good.
So more of a needs strategy.
Yes, right? Product function. If you're breaking down how many calories per unit, that's pretty.
Which also plays into image of health consciousness.
True, yeah. But and in terms of the layout, the different things that we're seeing here, is there more being given than we just talked about in terms of image? It's very functional to compare 3 stacks of chips, right? And then a huge 100 in terms of visual hierarchy that, reminds us that we're talking about a low-calorie snacks.
It's very visual. Comparative analysis is a big winner for millennials as well.
And who would respond to the words guilty pleasure? Or maybe everyone responds to the words guilty pleasure, right? Yeah, Lonnie?
I kind of feel like it also goes for people who are trying to go on a diet and eat healthy, but at the same time they like chips, so they're trying to look for something that's low in calories but that's still good to eat.
Yeah, makes sense. Like a snack that is not going to be too impactful on your weight. Yeah. Yeah.
For the analytical type, as far as the magazine where this could be seen, I didn't get the information, or was it listed? On pretty much prepubescents will eat for taste, whereas more juveniles and adults are going to be more image conscious and health conscious.
Yeah, I think young people can handle more calories and more snacks, right? The older you get, the more difficult it is. Speaking from experience. Yeah.
I do appreciate how they are honest about that they do in fact have more carbs than the other 2. Though.
Interesting.
There's there are some down. I mean, not really, but there are some downsides, and I appreciate how they point that out.
So it is, yeah, it's true that it's really broken down quite analytically, right? How much protein, how much fiber. You don't see that about most products. So maybe that speaks to a more educated viewer or reader or whatever, someone who would bother to care about.
Hot chips, honest.
Right? Honest, yeah, perhaps. They give you all the data. But I guess the other thing is, would someone care, do I get more carbs or more fat in my diet or whatever? I'm not sure. Maybe it would be in health magazines, right? Or maybe workout magazines? Maybe. Cool. Okay, any other thoughts about this?
The healthy cheat.
Yeah? Red? Kind of a sunset thing going on there? Sunburst? Sunburst, yeah. All right, well, thanks, Ibu. Well, thank you very much, folks. We got through it. You won't have to do presentations up until the middle of November again. So where we'll be talking about industry news, which will be a little more, tied to some reporting and information that you can find out prior to that. So just want to tell people who may have been streaming the class that you too can do what we just did. All you have to do is write up, a short description of the target audience and the strategy used and turn it in online, okay? And that would be due a week from now. But for those who were present today, your work is done, right? You get your full marks just for having presented and discussed and stuff. So you're all good, but for people who were streaming, a little bit of extra work will get them the same credit, okay? Thanks a lot, so we'll see you Thursday.